Hi and welcome back to Insight 2014. We're here on the show floor, Insight Central. I'm Richie Jennings and I'm joined by Brian Gammage from VMware. Brian, hello.
Hello, good to be here.
Super, lovely to have you here. So you're the Chief Market Technologist for what exactly?
Well, I particularly cover end-user computing, which is not actually really just about technology. It's about how people work through technology, and I'm sure I don't need to tell you that that's changing quite rapidly at the moment.
It certainly is. What sort of things are your customers finding that is changing on their desktops?
Well, it's more than just their desktops, and I think that's probably the first start. Is now the default sort of new deployment is mobile. So if you're deploying a new application, if you're thinking of a new usage requirement, it's going to be mobile first. So I think that's probably the first thing that's changed. And really they're dealing with a portfolio of applications in most cases that they've had for years. And they've got to carry those forward. Probably some of them will be replaced, and then augment them, of course, with all of these new mobile applications and make sure that people stay productive, we all stay secure. It's a complex world carrying forward yesterday's sunk investment and moving into sort of today and tomorrow's expectations of productivity.
Lots and lots of fast change.
Rapid, yes, very rapid over the last 5 or 6 years. I mean, it's a sobering thought, but the iPhone, really the first mainstream smartphone, appeared in 2007, and the iPad in 2009. Now tablets are almost everywhere, even in areas like social networking. I mean, Facebook back in 2009 had 150 million users. Now it's way over 1 billion. So things have changed very, very rapidly. And for organizations looking at deploying technology for their workforce to perform their work, they have a lot more options than before, and they have to make sense of these options, and they have to make sense of those options, of course, within budget.
Yeah, and one of the things I find when I talk to customers is that not only is the technology changing, but the importance of security is changing so much.
Well, I think that's because security is, of course, very visible as an issue to everybody. But actually, I'd almost disagree with you slightly in the sense that security is critical. But in most cases, in most commercial organizations, it's not security that's top of mind, it's audit. So, if you're in the armed forces, if you're working in sort of some part of government secrecy, or maybe you're managing nuclear power stations, then security is critical because you cannot let the bad people in. But I think the reality for most organizations is that they accept that because they're so interfaced with other parts of the world, that the bad people will get in at some point. Now, when that happens, what matters is that you can show very quickly what was affected, how it was affected, and what you've done to remediate whatever issues there were.
So vulnerability and exploits are a given, and detection and remediation is the key.
Yes, a little bit like the world of medicine, really, isn't it?
I like it. Okay, very good. And obviously legacy is a big deal for, well, just about every customer, I'm sure. And it sounds like you help people with legacy and get the best out of what they've already got.
Well, the desktop PC appeared in 1981, really, in terms of the first model. So most customers have been investing in their desktop environment for 20, 30, more years. And of course, in that time, they've deployed lots of applications. Now, it's a rule of thumb, but the rule of thumb is that if you go into an organization and count the number of workers and divide them by 10, that will be more or less how many desktop applications they've got. Over time, because they tend to renew the desktop infrastructure, remember hardware, devices break and operating systems get updated, some of those applications will have been modernized. They'll have been replaced with software as a service applications, or maybe even now, of course, the new mobile applications. But in most cases, those customers will still have a dependency on yesterday's legacy applications for probably about half of their portfolio. So yes, we tend to find customers trying to both adopt the new and carry forward the old. And of course, the applications are business processes, so they're not things you can throw away. People have to keep working. So it's a complex journey, and I think if you put a higher level financial sheen on it, the challenge that many customers face is that they've optimized the way they manage their sort of footprint of assets over the last 15 or 20 years, almost around an idea of industrialization. If we standardize everything, if we lock it down, if we stop it changing, we can do it for less money, we can make it more secure. Well, the reality now is much more heterogeneous. And actually, from a financial point of view, it means the imperative is to, as you replace assets, you have to make sure that the new asset comes with a lower marginal management overhead than the asset you're replacing.
Okay, yes.
And as you do that, of course, what you do is you wind down the impact of diversity. At the very highest level, most end-user computing environments are, the budget is 80% OpEx, 20% capital. I think organizations are aspiring across the globe to get to much closer to 50-50, because that will mean they're able to embrace this rapid change and use it for benefit. And the challenge is, if you don't, then somebody else probably will. And if it's somebody without the legacy, then it's going to be much easier for them to do it. So yes, it's a very interesting technology business world at the moment.
Wow. Okay. So that was a really dense answer. I think I'm going to go and wind that back and listen to it again, maybe at half speed, and get that into my head. Brian, it's been terrific talking to you.
Pleasure.
He's been Brian Gammage from VMware. VMware can help you with all of those things. I've been Richie Jennings. Thanks for watching here at Insight 2014.